Hi dear students, how are you? Hope so fine. Okay, before going to start the next chapter, let's have a discussion. Now live sessions going on. You'd have collected your books also. You'd have started preparing notes also there. So on your study table, how you are keeping the books? All together, physics, chemistry, bio, and even reference books mixed? I don't think so. You are grown up. You know how to keep the books. You'd have kept bio, physics, chemistry, all the sets separately. Why we are doing like that? Why we are not keeping in mixed form? Because if it is mixed, whenever the need is there, it will be difficult to manage. It won't be easy to get. If subject-wise, classified and kept, we can easily handle the things. Easily we can manage the things. Easily we can refer the things. So you are categorizing the books. You are classifying them as per your convenience to make the work easy for you. So dear students, today the chapter which we are going to learn, that is also related to classification. That is nothing else, biological classification. So what is biological classification? Why we have to do that? What is the need of that? In the first chapter we discussed that the known organisms, the number ranges 1.7 to 1.8 million. Do you think that it is easy for us to identify each and every organism and it is easy for us to study related to each? Not at all. It's time consuming and we cannot reach to each and every one. So for that, to make our study purpose easy, we are classifying the organisms. So if classification is done, we can manage the thing easily. And even we told that we are classifying the organism based on what? How we were identifying the organism? With the correctly described characteristics. So based on the characteristics only we are classifying the organisms. Some easily observable characteristics are there. So we can see when we are coming to the characteristics of organisms, some similarities are there, some dissimilarities are there. So based on the similarities and dissimilarities only the classification is done. Whomso closely related are kept in one category, whomso are not in separate. For example, human beings, all of them are coming in one category. Human population. Dog, a particular species. Cat, tiger, mango, banyan. Like that many are there. So in that also, whomso having similarities, we are keeping them together. And then we are doing the study. So in this chapter, what we are going to learn? Let us see. Chapter 2, Biological Classification. In this chapter, we are going to learn about mainly 5 kingdom classification. Who proposed 5 kingdom classification? Yes, very good. R.H. Whitaker in 1969. He proposed 5 kingdom classification. And according to that, which are the kingdoms? You already learned this. Every time I am telling that you learned this, you learned this. But it's true. And dear students, the books which you learned in 9th and 10th, please don't give it to anyone. If you are already given, please you have to collect from anyone. Because for the study purpose, for the reference, these books are needed for you. Okay, listen. According to R.H. Whittaker's 5 kingdom classification, which are the 5 kingdoms? Good. Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia. But in this chapter, one more topic we will learn, that is related to viruses, viroids and lichens, which is not at all included in this 5 kingdom. But we have to learn, we have to understand regarding these topics also. But one thing we have to understand, before the scientists do the classification scientifically, many years back, from the ancient time, our people started classification. Ancient classification, the beginning. Actually, that was based on the use. Based on use, organisms were classified. So now we are learning the classification that is based on scientific knowledge, based on some criteria, based on some rules. So let's start the chapter. Since the dawn of civilization, there have been many attempts to classify living organisms. As I told you, since the dawn means here the word you have to understand the meaning is beginning. Since the beginning of civilization, there have been many attempts, many tries to classify living organism. It was done instinctively, not using criteria that were scientific, but born out of a need to use organisms for our own use, for food, for shelter and clothing. Listen beta, what we are saying here in this point means since the dawn of civilization, since the beginning of civilization, what have been started, attempt to classify living organisms have been started. But it was not done instinctively. It was not done using some criteria. Means intentionally or keeping some criteria, this classification was not done. That were not scientifically, but that classification born out of a need to use organisms for our own use. That means based on use. In ancient time, classification was started. And if the need is for food, and if the need is for shelter, and if the need is for clothing. So as per the need, the classification was started in the ancient time. Underline, Aristotle was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis for classification. In first chapter, regarding taxonomy, taxonomic categories, hierarchy and classification topics, as it was deleted, I told you that from the animated videos you have to understand the topic. So from that you would have gone through some of the points which we are discussing here now. In that also it was discussed, it was shown that Aristotle was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis of classification. So when we are learning classification, we can understand earlier it was based on use, but then after scientifically classification started by Aristotle. So he was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis for classification. And he used simple morphological characters to classify plants into trees, shrubs and herbs. Even from lower classes we are learning that. Plants are classified into three. Which are they? Mainly herbs, shrubs, trees. So even Aristotle also classified scientifically, and he used what for that purpose? He used simple morphological characters. Morphological means external characters. And keeping these external characters into consideration, he classified the plants into trees, shrubs and herbs. He also divided animals into two groups, which had a red blood and those that did not. So Aristotle classified somewhat scientific way he started. According to him, he classified plants based on morphological characters into trees, shrubs and herbs. Based on the color of blood, he classified animals into two groups, whomsoever having red blood and whomsoever having not. In Linnaeus' time, then after Aristotle, Carolus Linnaeus. In Linnaeus' time, a two-kingdom system of classification with the Plantae and Animalia kingdoms was developed that included all plants and animals respectively. In Linnaeus' time, the classification was of two kingdom. So according to that two kingdom classification, two kingdom system of classification, all plants were kept in one, that is kingdom of Plantae, and all animals kept in the animal kingdom. So like the two kingdoms were there. Then this system was used till very recently. This system did not distinguish between the eukaryotes and prokaryotes. This system did not distinguish between unicellular and multicellular organisms. And this system did not distinguish between photosynthetic green algae and non-photosynthetic fungi organisms. So whatever we are learning, we can understand that some limitations are also there. Some merits are there, some demerits are there. Some positives are there, some negatives are there. Till very recently, this two kingdom system of classification proposed by Linnaeus was used in that all the plants kept under kingdom Plantae and all the animals kept under kingdom Animalia. But then after found out that what happened, this two kingdom system did not distinguish, did not differentiate between what eukaryotes and prokaryotes. What do you mean by eukaryotes and prokaryotes? Eukaryotes. Eu means true. Karyon means nucleus. In the last lecture, otherwise in the first lesson, there also we discussed regarding this. Eukaryotes means having true nucleus, having well-developed nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Prokaryotes means primitive nucleus. Pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus. So primitive nucleus, that means we have to understand well-developed nucleus is not there and well-developed nuclear or membrane-bound organelles also not there. Nucleus-like part, that is nucleoid is present in the place of nucleus. So this is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So in this two kingdom system of classification, they were not distinguished properly. Even unicellular and multicellular was not distinguished. Unicellular means the organism which is made up of only one cell or a single cell. And multicellular means we have to understand the organisms which is made up of more than one cell. Multi means many, more than one. We are all coming under which one? Multicellular organisms. Then photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic organisms. Green algae are photosynthetic. They can prepare the food by themselves with the process of photosynthesis. They are autotrophs. But fungi, they are heterotrophs. They cannot prepare the food by themselves because they are lacking what? Chlorophyll. And And classification of organisms into plants and animals was easily done and was easy to understand. But a large number of organisms did not fall into either category. So what happened here? Classification of organisms into plants and animals, that means into two kingdoms, it was easy. All plants under Plantae and all animals under Animalia was easy. But what happened? But a large number of organisms did not fall into either category. Then after learning more and more, it came to notice that some of the organisms which we cannot keep them in any of the category, not in plants, not in animals. Hence, the two kingdom classification used for a long time was found inadequate. Inadequate means it was not satisfactory. It is not sufficient. A need was also felt for including, besides gross morphology. That means, as we discussed, Aristotle was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis of classification based on morphological characters. So here what we are saying, that as we found out that some of the organisms, they did not fall into any of the category, hence the two kingdom classification used for a long time was found inadequate. So what was the need? A need was also felt for including, besides, apart from gross morphology, some other characteristics like cell structure, nature of cell wall, mode of nutrition, habitat, methods of reproduction, evolutionary relationships, etc. So means then we realized that not only morphological characters we cannot consider for classification of organisms, but what also should be included? Some other characteristics should be considered. They would be included like morphology is important only then. Besides morphology, gross means total. Besides total morphology, some other characteristics like cell structure. How the structure of cell is there? Is it having a well-developed nucleus, membrane-bound organelles? Is it having a cell wall or not there? How the wall is there, cell wall, with what it is made up of? What the mode of nutrition? Autotroph there, heterotroph there, या parasite is there, या saprophyte is there, and where the habitat, where they are living. If they are living in water, aquatic, if on land, terrestrial, if living on trees, arboreal, if they are able to live in extreme habitats. So like that, where the habitat, that also we have to take into consideration. Methods of reproduction. There are different types of reproduction. Sexual, asexual, vegetative. Then evolutionary relationships. As I told you, there is a scientific term for that, phylogenetic relationship. So all these characteristics also should be considered for classification. Classification system for the living organisms have since undergone several changes over time. So over time, as the time passed, as the scientific technologies developed, what happened? Classification system for living organisms have undergone several changes. Though plant and animal kingdoms have been a constant under all different systems, the understanding of what groups or organisms be included under these kingdoms have been changing. But one thing is sure, that plant kingdom, animal kingdom. But the difference where it is coming, the understanding of what groups or organisms be included. The newly found out organisms where it can be included. That differs. So that is changing. The number and nature of other kingdoms have also been understood differently by different scientists over time. The number and nature of other kingdoms have also been understood. Sometimes means some of the categories which was kept in some of the kingdoms earlier, but then over time, after understanding regarding them in depth, it was found out that we cannot keep them in that category which they were kept earlier. So we have to take them from that and we have to keep them in a separate category or group. So anyhow, over time, there was a need for classifying the organism apart from plants and animals or Plantae and Animalia, only taking morphological characteristics. Besides that, we have to consider some other characteristics like cell structure, nature of wall, mode of nutrition, habitat, methods of reproduction, evolutionary relationships, etc. So dear students, this is the introductory topic related to Chapter 2 Biological Classification. In the next session, we will learn about 5 kingdom classification proposed by R.H. Whitaker in 1969. So this much introduction you have to understand. Thank you dear students. Thank you so much. Have a nice day to you.
The system of classification. In this module, we will learn about system of classification. Classification of living organisms is as old as human civilization. Plants were classified as edible and non-edible. Animals were classified as useful and harmful. Discoveries of new organisms led to the periodical revision of classification from 2-kingdom system to 5-kingdom system. The ancient system classifies organisms on the basis of one or more superficial similarities and differences. For example, based on the nature of stem, plants were grouped into herbs, shrubs and trees. On the basis of habitat, animals were grouped into aquatic animals, terrestrial animals and aerial animals. The system of classification put forth by Parashara and Aristotle were based on superficial characters. The invention of microscope helped us understand the similarities and differences between organisms. This led to systematic and scientific approach to classification and to the development of modern classification. The modern classification is also called the natural system of classification. The system of classification includes the related organisms in one group and shows relationships with regards to habitat, life process, and mode of reproduction. The 2-kingdom classification is the earliest type of classification in the modern system. It was introduced by Carolus Linnaeus in 1758. It lasted for about 100 years. Linnaeus classified the living organisms under 2 kingdoms called Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. He included all plants under Plantae and animals under Animalia. But Linnaeus included mushroom in the Kingdom Plantae, though mushrooms cannot prepare food like other plants. In 1674, Liu Hen Huic observed a new group of primitive organisms under a microscope. In 1866, Ernst Haeckel proposed a third kingdom called Protista to include this set of new organisms like protozoa, bacteria, algae and fungi. The development of microscope and electron microscope revealed an important distinction between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are organisms having cells without a definite nucleus, and eukaryotes are organisms containing cells with a definite nucleus. In 1966, to accommodate prokaryotes, Copeland added another kingdom called Monera and proposed four-kingdom classification. He included bacteria and one of the most primitive algae called blue-green algae because both exhibit prokaryotic types of cells. The four kingdoms introduced by Copeland are Monera, Protista, Plantae and Animalia. Plants prepare their own food. Fungi, unlike plants, do not prepare their own food. The difference between